Hedley is a Canadian pop-rock group originating in Abbotsford, British Columbia that formed in 2003. They were named after the unincorporated community of Hedley, British Columbia, a name chosen after members heard that it was for sale for $346,000. Hedley is known for its singles Never Too Late, Cha-Ching, Invincible, Kiss You Inside Out, and Wildlife, and for the band members' philanthropic work as ambassadors for the charity Free the Children. History, 2003-2005. An original lineup and Canadian Idol, Hedley originally consisted of Jacob Hoggard, Kevin Gisbrecht, Kevin Hears, Ryan Federau, and Brandon McKay. The band wrote many songs such as Gunnin' and Brave New World. The original band bet Jacob Hoggard $150 that he wouldn't make it past auditions for Canadian Idol. Hoggard proved them wrong, making it to the top 3 before being eliminated from the competition. 2005-2008. A Hedley and Famous Last Words, their debut single On My Own reached number 1 on the Canadian Singles Chart, and the follow-up Trip peaked at number 11. The singles On My Own, 321, Trip, and Gunnin' topped the Much Music Countdown. Their last single, Street Fight, off of their self-titled debut album, was successful on both the Much Music Countdown and the Canadian Singles Chart. Their first single from their album Famous Last Words, She's So Sorry, achieved much success on the Much Music Countdown. In 2005 the band went on their first tour across Canada, with The Weeknd and Faber, the band currently known as Faber Drive. Then went on a 19-city Canadian tour with Simple Plan, and in early 2006, headlining the Get Some to Across Canada Club tour with MXPX and Faber. In the summer of 2006, they signed a record deal for the United States with Capitol Records. At the time a division of EMI, Universal Music Group competitor, before being sold in the fold of EMI in 2012 to Universal. Upon signing, Hedley's self-titled album was released with a new cover in the US on September 26, 2006, a year after its initial release in Canada. During June 2006, the band went on tour in the US, opening for fellow Capitol Records artist, Yellow Card, with Matchbox Romance. Subsequently Hedley was dropped by Capitol Records in 2007. Hedley released their second album, Famous Last Words, on October 30, 2007. It went platinum 10 days after release. The first single from the CD, She's So Sorry, was released to radio on August 21, 2007. The video was shot in Toronto, Ontario, and premiered on Much Music on September 20, 2007. In late 2007, the band was chosen to open for Bon Jovi on their Lost Highway tour at their Canadian stops for 14 shows, which forced them to postpone their own tour till early 2008, opened by State of Shock. Famous Last Words was released on May 12, 2009 in the US with a blue cover and new name Never Too Late. 5 songs replaced with 5 from the band's first album. Dropped by Capitol Records in 2007, Never Too Late was released by Fontana Distribution, at the time owned by Hedley's Canadian record label's parent company Universal Music. 2009-2011. The Show Must Go and Go with the Show. On November 17, 2009, Hedley released their third studio album The Show Must Go. The first single Cha-Ching peaked at number 6 in the Canadian Hot 100. The second single, Don't Talk to Strangers, peaked at number 11 on the Canadian Hot 100, and at number 1 on the Much Music Countdown. The third single Perfect peaked at number 7 in the Canadian Hot 100, and also peaked at number 1 in the Much Music Countdown. The fourth single off the album was Hands Up. The band went on The Show Must Go on the road tour across 38 cities in Canada in support of the new album The Show Must Go. On November 16, 2009, Chart Attack reported, Pfeff Dobson and Stereos will be along for the whole trek, while Faber Drive and Boys Like Girls will support on select dates. A live album and documentary entitled Go With The Show was recorded during this tour. Released on CD/DVD on November 9, 2010. In 2010 the band signed an American record deal with Island Records, owned by same mega label, Universal Music Group, as Hedley's Canadian label. The album was originally to be released in the US on October 12, but instead was released on December 7, 2010, containing the bonus tracks I Do, and Color Outside the Lines. The band also toured the US to promote the album. The band performed Cha-Ching in a segment with other artists highlighting Canadian music at the closing ceremony of the Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympic Games. The song was later included in the soundtrack to the closing ceremony's Sounds of Vancouver 2010, closing ceremony commemorative album. 2011-2013 A Storms. On May 5, 2011, Hedley confirmed that they were back in the studio recording a new album. The first official single from the album, entitled Invincible, was released on iTunes on August 23, 2011. The single has yet to be released on iTunes in the US. An official music video for the song was released on September 6, 2011. The band's fourth studio album, Storms, was released on November 8, 2011. This album consists of 12 tracks. A music video was released for the album's second single One Life on December 14, 2011. The album sees the group experimenting with elements of pop and rock music to create their most musically diverse soundscape yet, as well as the one with most overt pop overtones. Debuting at number 2 on the Canadian Albums Chart, it is also Hedley's most successful album thus far. The album debuted at number 2 on the Canadian Albums Chart, selling 23,000 copies. This was the biggest debut of the week, behind Michael Bublé's copyright-S holiday album Christmas. This album marks the band's highest album chart peak. On November 23, 2011, the album was certified gold by Music Canada. Hedley won the Juno Award for Best Pop Album at the 2012 awards. The album produced 2 top 20 singles, Invincible, and One Life. The album included the track Beautiful, which was first released on Hedley's live album Go With The Show in 2010. After the success of Storms, Hedley released a new single called Kiss You Inside Out on May 18, 2012, included in the re-release of Storms on June 5, 2012. A French version of Kiss You Inside Out featuring additional vocals by Andra copyright Ian Leclerc was also made available on iTunes. Kiss You Inside Out was met with critical acclaim and netted the band their highest chart peak to date. To promote Storms, the band went on the A31 City Shipwreck Tour during early 2012. 2013, presenter Wildlife, on August 27, 2013, Anything, the first single released. Followed by the video September 10, 2013. The album, entitled Wildlife, was released on November 11, 2013 in Canada. Consisting of 11 tracks. Hedley signed in late 2013 again with Capitol Records, now owned by Universal Music Group, the same mega-label owner of as their Canadian label. The album was released via Capitol Records in the US on May 20, 2014. The album's second single Crazy For You, released October 22, 2013 and video released February 14, 2014. The band's album, Wildlife, was released in the US on May 19, 2014. Hedley headlined the 101st Grey Cup half-time show at Mosaic Stadium at Taylor Field in Regina, Saskatchewan on November 24, 2013. Performing a 13-minute compilation of Hands Up, Anything, Invincible and Cha-Ching. Hedley went on a Canadian national headlining tour, Wildlife Tour, to promote the album, in February April 2014, playing 37 cities and ending in hometown, Abbotsford, British Columbia. As well as the studio at Webster Hall in New York on January 14 and Los Angeles at the Sayers Club on January 16. Band members, Jacob Hoggarty lead vocals, acoustic guitar, rhythm guitar, piano, Dave Rossina guitar, backing vocals, Tommy Mack bass, backing vocals, Chris Crippin drums, backing vocals, discography. Studio albums, Hedley, Famous Last Words Never Too Late, The Show Must Go, Storms, Wildlife, Live albums, Go With The Show, Awards. Nominations, nominated for Rock Album of the Year, and New Group of the Year at the 2006 Juno Awards. They closed the show with their single On My Own. Nominated for Favorite Canadian Group, and they were nominated for Best Pop Video and Best Post-Production for their video for Gunnin at the Much Music Video Awards on June 17, 2007. They won Best Pop Video. Nominated for 4 2007 Juno Awards. Their only victory was for their producer, Brian Howes. They were also nominated for the 2008 Juno Award for Group of the Year, but lost to Blue Rodeo. Nominated for 2 2010 Juno Awards, Pop Album of the Year, and Group of the Year. Nominated for 6 awards in the 2010 MMVAs, Video of the Year, Post-Production of the Year, Cinematography of the Year, Director of the Year, Pop Video of the Year, and FA Video. Nominated for 5 awards at the 2012 MMVAs including, Video of the Year and FA Video of the Year, Pop Video of the Year and Cinematography Video of the Year, for Invincible Ft. P. Rain, and FA Artist of the Year. Nominated for the following categories for the 2013 Juno Awards, Fan Choice Award, Album of the Year, and Single of the Year, wins. Of the 6 nominations the group got for the 2008 Much Music Video Awards, the group won 4 awards, Best Video, for The Nights I Can't Remember, Best Cinematography, for The Nights I Can't Remember, Best Director, for The Nights I Can't Remember, Much Loud Best Rock Video, She's So Sorry. Won 3 awards, all for the song For The Nights I Can't Remember, a Fan's Choice Award, Song of the Year, and the Chart Topper Award. Won a Juno Award at the 2011 ceremony for Video of the Year. Won a Juno Award at the 2012 ceremony for Pop Album of the Year, beating critically acclaimed releases by Avril Lavigne and Lights. Influences. After an interview, Jacob confessed to being influenced by the band Jimmy Eat World and Steven Tyler. He said, "Tommy came from metal background and I came in with Jimmy Eat World and Steven Tyler as being my biggest influences, and it somehow came together amazingly." Philanthropy. Since 2009, the members of Hedley have acted as ambassadors for Free the Children, an international charity and educational partner. Hedley also volunteered in 2 of Free the Children's international communities, first in the Masai Mara, Kenya, in 2010 and later in Rajasthan, India, during the summer of 2011. After experiencing the effects of poverty firsthand, Hedley involved its fans, explaining that we were faced with the harsh reality that many people in impoverished communities are forced to live without the rights we take for granted here, such as healthcare. We returned to Canada resolved to take a stand and raise funds to help the families we met in the overall region. Through fan donations, the band raised $12,000 for health education in India. See also, List of bands from Canada, Free the Children, references. External links, official website.